Hi, friends. Hello, the world. How are you all? I hope you can hear me and see me well, if those of you who are seeing me or watching me. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you for all the feedback you've given me on getting to know each other, getting to know me. I wrote about my story last week and I've gotten so much comments, especially supportive ones of how amazing it is that I've overcome so many things to achieve in life. So that was amazing to hear all of your feedback and also see how many of you are actually following and also interested in knowing more about me. And that's amazing. I love it. And I would love to get to know you more. So you keep sending me your insights and more about yourself of who you are and why you follow me and how um, are you making progress in your journey of achieving what you want in life. So today's topic that I wanted to talk about is fulfilling job as a new norm. And I realize that it's not a topic that is of interest for everyone, and that's absolutely fine because there might be some of you who may say, well, I'm okay my job being just a job and nothing more, and I have other things to prioritize, or I'm not really interested to make my job as fulfilling as society or some people may want us to believe. So if you are one of those people who say, no, my job has to stay the way it is and nothing wrong with it, or everything's fine with it and I'm okay with it, then obviously this may not be for you. So but this is definitely for so many of you and me including, who think that a job that we do needs to be fulfilling, that it needs to be in line with what we want, and then and if it's not, then we are keen to find out how to make it happen that way. Right, so this is the topic that relating to fulfillment as such, whether it's fulfillment in job or any other thing that we do in life regularly. So I think I will focus mostly on job as such, but you can also think of other areas of your life that you consider fulfillment, and you can see what are the parallels as well. So as usual, before I start talking about fulfillment, I would love to prompt you to reflect on some of the questions for yourself and see where you go with it. So obviously the first question that comes to mind is that do you feel your job is fulfilling you or not? And this will already give you a lot of insight as to whether it's not, whether it's yes, and what can be done about it. And the other question that you could reflect on is, what does it mean for you? What does this fulfillment mean for you? Or what does a fulfilling job means for you? Right? And for whatever reason, your brain is offering that, no, it's not fulfilling, but I would like to, then of course, you could ask the next question of what you need to do or what needs to happen for you to feel fulfilled with your job. Another way to go is how could you make your job a source of excitement or energy rather than source of depletion? And also, the other question you could ask yourself is, do you spend more time complaining about how it's not fulfilling than about figuring out how to make it fulfilling? Because this is also another great indicator of seeing where we put all of our energy to, and where we actually lack the energy to be making things better. Rather, we put all of that energy to making, as if reporting or observing and reporting facts, but really creating a lot of narrative, especially negative narrative around our jobs, making it sound bad and therefore not really enjoying our job at all. So we're making things worse than it may actually be even. Anyway, so these could be the questions that you could reflect on and see what your responses will be to those questions. The way that I would like to talk about today is I would like to contribute to a tradition or norm, whichever way we call it, of making jobs fulfilling and serving our purpose rather than doing it for the sake of doing in order to survive or in order to cope with life or in order to pay our dues or whatever the other reasons we might be seeking in order to do the job. So of course, there's always that option of using a job as a means to an end, meaning paying our dues and then, be over with it, right? But since we spend so much of our energy and time at work, for most of us, or doing some kind of a work other than maybe sleeping, then I am a proponent to think that it's a bit of a waste of time if we don't find our jobs fulfilling. And now I'm realizing actually that when I left my job, by the way, I submitted my resignation recently, so let's see how things are going there. But anyway, when I left my job, I think one of the also points that I've come to realize is that I wanted to do more of fulfilling job. It's not that my other job was not fulfilling, but I think not to an extent that I wanted. And I think this was one of the reasons that I also left my job, is because I wanted to pursue what really felt fulfilling for me. And therefore I wanted to contribute to this discourse, or I wanted to contribute to this society of people who love their jobs, who want to be doing more of their jobs. They get energized by their jobs, by their work, or by their mission, whichever way you call it, rather than treating it as something that just earns money for me to get by or to live my life, right? So that's why the question then is, how can we make our current job, or how can we create jobs that are very fulfilling? And the other question is, what's getting in the way? Right? So these are the topics that I would love to cover and discuss with you, so you can share your reflections on this as well. I will share my reflections on this, and and then hopefully we will be convincing more and more people that living our life where our jobs are an integral part of us doing a fulfilling job is just a normal thing, meaning ordinary thing, and it's not an exception, or it's not something to strive for, but it's rather something that we have and we do. If we can make that a norm, maybe our societies would be a lot more progressive. Maybe our societies would be a lot more where more happy people walking around. I don't know, at least this is what I would love to promote and advocate for. The biggest question, I guess, is for every one of us, for every one of us to answer is, so then what is fulfilling, right? So who decides what's fulfilling and how does it feel? And obviously, I really encourage you to answer that question for yourself. These are the answers that comes to my mind when I think about it, and I will share just in case you want to reflect on these as well. So fulfilling job comes for me in the form of doing things that I love, that are in line with what I value very important. doing things that bring a lot of meaning to why I do it, and I truly believe in what I do. And I live by it. So in other words, whatever I preach or whatever I say and whatever I do, I live by it myself, meaning I have integrity with that. And I also want to do that as a profession. And another criteria for fulfilling job is where I see that my effort, my work has an impact, has a result directly that I can see and say, I've been able to do that, or I've been able to contribute in this exact way, and this is the result. And when I'm able to help another person change their lives to the better, and then I can see how I believed in that person's ability to change and create whatever that person wanted to create, and I was able to contribute to that change, that gives me fulfillment, right? So fulfilling for me is when it's meaningful, it's impactful, I can see the direct results, and I can make a difference in someone's life by believing in their ability to change and their ability to make a difference for themselves using their own inner wisdom, using their own resources that they already have. So this is for me a fulfilling. And I think that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm so super stoked that I'm doing it. And I want to advocate for every one of us to be in a position where we do things that we love doing, and we do things that we can't get enough of. We go home tired, but thinking, I've done it, or I know why I'm tired, and I'm so willing to be tired for it. This is the state that I want to encourage all of us to be in, rather than coming home and thinking, what the point of doing all of this? I don't really understand. I wasted all my time. Yes, I get a good pay, or yes, I have these privileges, or yes, I have this title, or I have this power, but I didn't really feel like I've made a difference, or I didn't really feel like I have made any change, or I didn't really feel like what I did was meaningful, right? So instead of that, I want us all to come home, or if you're working from home, after finishing your work, thinking, how amazing is that I get to do this work and I get paid for it. So this type of fulfilling job that I hope that every one of you who are listening will get or are having, in which case, let's celebrate it. And if you're not having it yet, let's strive for getting it. Now, whenever I'm saying all of this, you're probably having a lot of different thoughts about it, your reactions. Some of them may be, yes, let's do it, let's get this type of job. Or some of them are saying, yay, amazing, I already have one, that's great. Or some of you are saying, it's not possible, or it's not possible to have that kind of job all of the time, or it's not possible to have it some of the time. Maybe it's compromisable to have that feeling some of the time, but not most of the time. So there might be many different ways that you are reacting and your brains are reacting. And that's amazing. We want that reaction. We want to know what's happening when I say all of these, when I encourage you to give a possibility to think about these things if you haven't thought about it. So the question becomes, what's getting in the way of getting that fulfilling job if you don't have it yet, or if you don't have that feeling of fulfillment? Again, please answer yourself with your own reflections, but here might be some of the ways that you could immediately get access to answers, such as, How does my job make me feel now? That could give you all the answers if you don't have it already. um, is what I'm doing is in line with what I really value in life? That could give you another way to look at it. And or another way of looking at it is, how do I want to make my job make me feel about my life? So whichever way it is, there are obviously a lot of thoughts about why you think your job is not fulfilling you. There might be many different ways. Some of them might be related, you think is related to other people, meaning because of those people, I can't really have fulfilling jobs, be it a boss, a colleague, or customers, whoever, right? There might be another reason why you think you can't really have a fulfilling job, which is the systems. The system is a problem. It's huge, or it's unbreakable, or it's never going to change, or whatever the thing that's related to system that you're thinking is the problem why you don't have fulfilling job. Another one is obviously the circumstances, meaning that this is the circumstances where it's not possible to have fulfilling jobs. Maybe in other circumstances it could have been. So these might be another explanation. So to sum up, you might be inclined to think immediately that the problem why you're not having a fulfilling job is because of external circumstances, i.e. others. Don't worry, I've been there. I know the feeling. I know the feeling of wanting to see the problem somewhere else. And that's easy, that's explainable. And possibly some of them are also explained why that's true. Your brain is convinced that's true. Okay, let's assume that. Now what? So we assume that these are the reasons why you're not having a fulfilling job. But most of us somehow stay there. Most of us are like, okay, these are the reasons why I can't have a fulfilling job. And therefore, all I'm going to do now is dedicate my time to complain about why I don't have this job or why I don't have fulfillment. And therefore, I need to just get by and keep complaining or being frustrated about it. I would love to encourage you to not stop there. Meaning that if you're going to spend a lot of energy and time complaining about your jobs, you may as well spend that time and energy to figure out how to make your job fulfilling within the framework that you have already now. Right? Because if you keep just complaining about why your job is not fulfilling and all of the reasons listed and keep repeating them over and over, or believing that that's true and that's it, then we're not going anywhere. We're stuck. But why do we put ourselves in this stuck position? What's the point? Why not instead use that energy to find a way to make our jobs fulfilling, whichever the way we decide it should be fulfilling or it is. And in the end of the day, if I tell you that all of these are your thoughts and these are optional and you get to decide what to do with them, you'll probably not even believe me. And even if you do believe me, you may say, well, it's just so difficult to do something about it. But I tell you, it's more difficult to keep complaining about it and spending energy on it than deciding how you're going to make your job fulfilling and go after it. Because that's more energizing, because then you see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that way you're going somewhere, you're going to a solution rather than keep yourself being stuck. So you get to decide what you want to feel about your job, whether it makes you fulfilling or whether it makes you depleting. Because all of those feelings are coming from your thought about your job anyway. So you get to decide how to think about your job as well. You may think it's the worst, you may think it's the greatest, you may think whatever else you want to think. And if you think that you can never make your job fulfilling in your current circumstances, maybe it's time to make a change. And again, if you're too scared to make a change, it's okay. It's part of the process. Being scared is part of it. Being scared doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Being scared means just check with yourself if that's what you want. But you will be scared anyway, because you will probably be scared of the unknown. So, knowing all of this, here are the things you could do to make your decision of how you want to feel about your job. So if you're someone who has this nudge within you, or itch, other people call it, that says you should be doing a fulfilling job, but you're not doing, then you may want to take that nudge seriously, because it will keep coming back. If you're, however, someone who says, no, my job has to be just a job, it pays my bills, and that's it, you've made your decision. But as I said, if you're someone who has this itch or who has this nudge to say, I want to do a fulfilling job, decide what is fulfilling for you. And then look at your current job and decide whether this is fulfilling or not, and what are the reasons for it. What's getting in the way? As I said, these might be the reasons why, because of other people, because of systems, because of circumstance, whatever the reasoning that your brain comes up with. Then you ask yourself what you want to do next. Maybe some of them you think are not possible to change, others possible to change. Whichever the way it is that you think is the case now, how do you want to go from now on to make your job feel fulfilling for you? What you want to do in order to feel fulfilled at work. And go figure out how to make your job fulfilling, whether to make it in line with your values, to make it in line with what your interests are, whatever the case is. And know and trust your ability to do that, rather than keep just looking at why it's not fulfilling and how everything is wrong with it. So, my dears, I hope you will give it a try. You will consider the possibility that it's possible. and let's all of us who are listening contribute to this new normal, that is, having a fulfilling job is part of living a fulfilled life. And that's amazing. Let's contribute to that culture so that we can create new possibilities for all of us that we haven't considered before. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Bye.